As we all know, photography is all about the gear, not about the skill.
And not just any gear, it has to be full frame.
We're only kidding about the sensor size, by the way.
Yeah, any frame is good frame.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. I'm here with the one, the only, Matti Sulanto.
My name is Matti.
Thanks for joining me on this collaboration video out in Mordialloc Beach here in Melbourne, Australia. So you've flown in all the way from overseas.
Yes, I love it here, and the beach is wonderful. We don't have beaches like this, and thanks for having me.
Oh, no problems. And we don't have to wear jackets, and it's not going to snow, so we're
I
good.
hope not.
So if you know my channel, I'm mostly a video shooter, but Matti is actually a photographer. So talk a little bit about what you enjoy and what you do.
Yeah, my background is in commercial photography, but I stopped doing that a few years ago. Now I only do YouTube. My channel is about cameras, photography, and I'm more like a documentary street photographer and that kind of stuff. No landscapes or other kinds of photography.
So if you don't know his channel, go subscribe down in the description or up in the cards. I'll link it everywhere so you can go check it out. All right, so in today's video, we're gonna do some photography. Now, I'm gonna ask a professional for some tips here. I shoot photos mostly for products at home, or I might shoot a product shot of a lens or whatever, but I don't actually go out and shoot a whole lot of photos. So it'd be great to pick your brain and maybe get some new ideas about framing and what you look for when you're taking a good photo, as opposed to this guy who just, sprays and prays here. So
let's do it. I'll do my best.
All right, very good. All right, let's take a quick look at what you're shooting with today.
I have many different cameras, not only Sony, but today I'm shooting on the Sony A7 Mark IV and the 40mm f2.5 Sony G lens. I love this combo, and the reason I brought a 40mm today, because I have a topic planned for my own channel regarding 40mm lenses, so I thought maybe today I can grab some great shots on this lens.
I'm shooting with the Panasonic S5 Mark II X for the first time with this 50mm f1.8 prime. So I guess I got a slightly tighter focal length, but hopefully we can compensate by taking a couple of steps back or however it works.
Yeah, it works. It's gonna work fine. I haven't seen that camera in flesh. Let me. Oh, it's surprisingly lightweight.
Oh, so is this.
How's that?
This feels pretty good too. Yeah. I thought we'd take this out and give it a blast.
Let's
That's
do
a
it.
technical term, by the way.
Technical term.
All right, so the question is, if we're shooting birds or moving subjects, what mode would we be using normally? Because I usually stick to aperture priority, but I don't think that's...
Okay, when we have so much light, I don't think it matters that much.
Oh, okay, cool.
You're gonna get like 1/1000 shutter speed anyway.
Yeah.
But if it's a little bit like lower light level, then I would shoot the S mode, shutter priority, and set my aperture to 1/500, minimum 1/1000, even 1/2000, depending on the bird and depending on how well I want to freeze my subject.
Yep.
But the birds can be really, really fast when they are flapping their wings and doing their things. So you gotta have a really fast shutter speed in order to, freeze the bird.
See, for me, I love shooting shots where there's lots of stuff going on. Like I don't know what I'm really trying to explain, but I love, the layer of these poles.
The main thing is to have some sort of main subject in the frame. Lots of stuff there. It's probably not so interesting because you'll want to have some sort of like main subject and then something to complement that.
Okay, makes sense. Otherwise,
it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I don't usually think about it like that, but now I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to use this as my main subject.
For example.
I'll print that out for you.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Thanks.
You're getting there.
There we go. Right in the center.
Oh, wow, that's nice. There's an airfield somewhere close.
Oh, yes, there is. Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about autofocus and whether or not you use it exclusively or whether you still think there's times where manual focus is still, the way to go.
For me personally, manual focus, obviously when I started out as a photographer, there was no choice.
Yep.
It was manual focus or no focus.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Today I like the convenience of autofocus. Occasionally I like to mount on a vintage lens and do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
But whenever I do my photography, I mostly rely on autofocus because it's so convenient. I guess I'm becoming lazy now that I'm getting older and you know.
What are some of the times you might use manual focus if you were to use it with even a modern lens?
Yeah, there are some situations. Let's say I'm shooting maybe a product shot for my YouTube video maybe. Then I might switch on to manual focus just to make sure the focus is where I want it to be. But those are very, very rare exceptions. The autofocus, at least on this camera, is so reliable that I
Yeah.
very, very seldom have to go to manual because this is unreliable. And there are some, because I also do video, there are some video shots like close-ups of something where I want manual focus, but that's about it.
Yeah, I love this beach. This is so nice. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites in Melbourne. I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find a nicer one.
Oh, it's beautiful. Ah, yes, some professional work going on there.
I got these ones over here as well.
Ah, great.
And I got one more question for you, actually. When it comes to the burst rates, you know, some of the new cameras are shooting 120 frames per second, which is insane. Does that sort of take away from the magic of being able to take a great shot? Or is it just, you know what, it's better to have more than less and you can filter the photos for 3 hours?
Well, it depends. I guess if you are like a professional commercial shooter, you're shooting, I don't know, some sports, for example, and you need to get that shot, then of course it's great to have that burst rate. But I'm a little bit old-fashioned, old school, and I kind of enjoy the sort of the what would be the correct word? I enjoy to be able to capture the right moment by hitting the shutter
like
at the
challenge,
right.
the challenge of it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sure there are people who just appreciate the ability to spray and pray and.
Yeah, you got to get that on a t-shirt. Spray and pray.
Yeah, but that's me, and I like the challenge to be able to, you know, the time my forefinger and the scene. Also, you have to consider that if you have 100 frames per second and you hit the shutter like 3 seconds, you have 300 frames.
Yeah.
And if you do that for a couple of minutes, you have like, I don't know, tens of thousands of frames already. How are you gonna pick the right frame? It's a lot of work to go through all those frames and try to find because also if it's 100 frames per second, the difference between the frames is very, very minor. So how do you pick it's a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I said, if you need the shot, if you have a client who wants that perfect moment, then I guess it's fine to have that.
Yeah, it's probably good to have it, whether you use it all the time or not. It's up to the use case, I suppose. Yeah, very cool. All right, let's talk about some tips. So if you were to give someone who's just starting their photography journey a couple of tips, maybe 3 tips or so, what would you say are some things to think about from your experience?
Okay, these are only my tips. Someone else might agree, someone else might not agree, but I'd stick with only one prime lens. It's so much easier to concentrate on the content of the picture when you have less things to worry about, like zooming or something. Then I'd say when it comes to the actual content of the picture, make sure you have at least one, or make sure you have one main subject in the frame. And always before you hit the shutter, scan all the edges of the frame so there are not distracting elements sticking out like tree branches or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that last one too, because it's something I probably wouldn't have thought about, because going back later and trying to remove some of that stuff could be problematic, especially for someone who's never done it before. So, yeah.
Oh yes, and still it's a good idea to try to get it right in camera. Of course, you can do anything in post these days, but I think the whole idea to get better as a photographer is to try to get it right in camera.
I've also learned something myself, that just owning a really nice camera and lens like, just thinking I can get great results as a photographer. It's not true. His photos look so much better than mine. So a lot of the B-roll I'll be adding in from my camera was you shooting photos because that was so much better. So yeah, thank you for being a part of this video, mate. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your time in Australia. And we're also going to shoot a video for your channel coming up as well. So stay tuned for that. Whenever it's out, I'll link it down in the description box. So thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Catch you soon.